Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Jos Steutelings, and I'm the Managing Director of VIGC, which stands for the Flemish Innovation Center for Graphic Communication, which is the initiator of this hackathon. Thanks for joining us this morning on this first pre-event towards our European Graphic Arts Hackathon on the 25th and the 26th of October. So let me start to thank all of you for showing interest in this initiative, and we truly hope you will become a participant, of course, and a pioneer on what definitely will be an established event for many years from now. Since this is, of course, the second edition, we are well on our way, I think. I'm happy to also introduce Jan de Klipperaar. He's Executive Director at Ernst & Young, who is my partner in crime in this initiative. Jan and I will alternate during this presentation, and of course also a warm welcome to the other hackathon team members of VIGC and Ernst & Young. The baseline for this European Graphic Arts Hackathon is reinvent the graphic arts industry, and who better than you to help us to achieve the goal in this hackathon. For this year's edition, we are happy to expand into Europe with the support of Intergraph, the trade association promoting and protecting the interests of the graphic arts industry at the European level, the Flemish government, represented by VLAIO, and the Danish, Estonian, and Dutch printing associations, who will act as a co-host in their countries. Today, we will go through the process of the hackathon, and we will give some feedback on last year's edition. We will have Dries from Connix, who will give an update on how he was doing in last year's hackathon. We try, of course, to be as clear as we can, but of course, don't hesitate to ask all the questions you have in the chat, or just raise your hand and we'll try to manage all your questions. At the end of this presentation, our goal is achieved if you are enthusiastic and convinced that this is the best initiative in years within our graphic arts industry, and of course that you will participate 25th and 26th of October. So let's kick off. The idea at the end of 29 is a little bit of history, was to create a physical hackathon, but as you all know, COVID made us reshape this plan. So a digital event it was last year, and it also will be this edition. And this is, and of course I think familiar for some of you, how it looked like last year. This year we will also create a virtual space within Teams with several channels, but Jan will elaborate on that later on in this session. Every team will have its own team channel. We will have team links for the plenary sessions at the start and the end of every day. There will be a technical channel if you have technical problems. We have team links for the workshops that will go on at the first day, and we will create a mentor and a jury channel. More over those channels also later on in this presentation. Last year, the technical setup went very smooth, so this definitely is a very comfortable and great way to set up this hackathon and to co-create. Important right now is that you know that the whole idea is to bring together as much as innovative minds around Europe in our industry as possible. And we want to encourage that it is the goal to think out of the box, and why not go completely wild. We were talking about printing on the moon, so maybe that's a little bit too far away, but something in between would be nice. So no restrictions, everything that is within our graphic arts scope is possible. So we hope to get as much as possible, not only production companies, but also suppliers, integrators, students, and representatives from independent federations and go on. In other words, you are the right people here today to participate. No matter what is your background or your expertise, we know that you are interested in the graphic arts industry. So please reach out to us and subscribe on this hackathon. As you all know, a hackathon literally is a design sprint-like event, often in the area of software development, where people collaborate on software projects. The goal is then to create a functioning software or a hardware at the end of the event. But, and that's very important, this is not how we see the European Graphic Arts Hackathon. We want to open up this initiative much more widely. This to convince as many companies and employees from within our industry as possible to think about the future of print and to participate in this hackathon. We see this European hackathon as a method of creative troubleshooting, where people reflect on what could be the next big thing in print, and where they take the time to look at a specific challenge. It's very important that you come out of your comfortable way of everyday working, out your production space, and you take the time to look at challenges and to cooperate in this initiative. But of course, we also want some fun and some competition, and that's why we need the teams to present to a jury at the end of the second day. A question we get a lot from people who are interested in participating is, what kind of challenge should we come up with? Of course, this is a difficult one. That's why we thought it would be a good idea to come up with some common ground as a starting point. The idea to help potential participants or teams to find their way and their challenge is in this, for the most of the participants, new concept is this grid. The common ground is based on some vertical lines, more or less the subsectors of our industry, and the horizontal lines, what we think are important issues to address within our industry. And then it looks like this. So for every crossroad of the vertical and the horizontal lines, so those lines, we created a question on our website, which the participants can use as an inspiration. So this is how it looks like on our website. And if you click on, for example, commercial printing, you see the subset questions that are highlighted above in this slide. It is not our intention to take the lead or to force participants into the one or the other direction. It's meant as a starting point to find an ultimate challenge and as a starting point for you, maybe in this hackathon. So on our website, we used these 6 visuals: commercial print, packaging, labels, print and marketing, industrial printing, and publishing. And then you can drill down and then you see the subset questions that I mentioned before. The idea is that we will work in teams and that each team will work together for 2 days on a specific challenge. As I mentioned, each team will choose its own challenge. And a team consists on average of 4 till 6 team members. We leave the choice completely open with regards of the challenges. It can therefore be a technical challenge, a workflow, a new business, or whatever you want challenge. It's important that the challenge interests you, of course, because you have to work on it for 2 days, and that it is an innovative challenge, as innovative as possible for our printing industry. So Jan, what is in it for the participants?
Well, I guess what's in it for you is actually already sketched by Jos. It's such a broad field, ranging from technology to market applications to new business models and across so many sectors of the industry that you have actually a real broad playing field to show what you and your team can do to reinvent the graphic arts industry, or at least to bring it one step further, step by step. You can pioneer with other sector enthusiasts around innovative solutions. So what an opportunity to help the industry, to help your teams, your organization, your startup, your production company, to give it a stage. and also to put yourself on stage. So it's a huge networking opportunity to really expand your network in the graphic arts industry. That's what innovation is all about. It's connecting ideas and to help each other to foster the industry. Again, yes, there's a good balance between I would say, the altruistic aspects of helping the industry, and at the same time, we are realistic. Everybody's here for a reason. You have a personal drive, a personal ambition to help the industry. What a stage you can find on this hackathon. And as you know, there's many journalists who will follow us and who need a story, and they are eager to learn from your story on how you and your team have moved the industry a little step forward. So a great source for inspiration, for branding, for exposure, and for networking. It was already mentioned, we define it as a very broad hackathon. So not only hacking software solutions, yes, that is definitely possible and is sometimes the more spectacular thing. You can do sometimes miracles with software in 48 hours. That's less easy with hardware and materials. Still, we broaden the goal, make tangible, innovative solutions. Tangible, what do we mean with tangible? It should be more than a few slogans on a PowerPoint slide. Show that you use the 48 hours, the 2 days of the hackathon, very tangibly to do something that moves the industry forward. And it can be indeed a prototype or a plugin or a new feature you're expanding in your existing solution. It can be a business model. It can be some market research, as long as you show that you use the network and that you have made a knowledge leap that adds value to the industry. So honestly, I haven't run in any of the discussions with many of you where we found out that it is not possible. I would say almost everything is possible. This year, we're talking to a materials company who has very specific substrates. Well, they're seeking for new applications. They're thinking of involving students to help them think about new applications. Okay, even that is possible. So bear with us. Obviously, we like people working together. So there is also opportunities that we've seen at last year's of people connecting things. Probably two existing applications or worlds or solutions or systems or partners. If they do something useful together and co-create a new interaction, a new integration, a new functionality, and a resulting new business model, give it a shot. It doesn't have to be a quantum leap, but surprise yourself and the industry with your innovation that is valuable. Honestly, almost everything is possible.
Great, thanks, Jan. So a hackathon always provides experts or mentors, as we tend to call them. A mentor is not attached to a team, but a team can call in the expertise of the mentor during the hackathon. If, for example, you want to check if you're on the right track at the second half of the first day, well, then you can ask one of our mentors to join the teams for a chat, for example, for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes. And every mentor has its own expertise and will be shown on a mural that we are preparing right now. So if you need some feedback on business models, you can check with a mentor who is expert in business models, and you invite them in your team to give you some feedback on your business model or your challenge that what you are working on. So this mural is, as I mentioned, in preparation, and every mentor will add his expertise on the mural, and we will provide you a link so you can see which mentor fits at which expertise area. At this moment, we have 16 mentors that will be available during the 2 days of our hackathon. You can see them here. We are still populating the mentor page, so there will be some new mentors in the next few days and weeks. Also a quite international group of people with skills in different areas. So also, I think very valuable to reach out to them in person through LinkedIn, but also through the Teams links that we will have in our team area. We also have an impressive jury this year. There are people from Denmark, Netherlands, Belgium, and probably also somebody from Estonia. So we have Kurt de Kat, who is editor-in-chief of the Belgian graphic arts magazine Grafisch Nieuws. His counterpart, Robert Delfos, editor-in-chief of Print Matters in the Netherlands. Morten Reithoff, who is owner and editor-in-chief of the Danish VIGC.be. We have Philip Voet, who is president of FINET, the label association. Klaus Holm, who is from Denmark and who is a managing director at Medit Consult. And as I mentioned, probably one person from Estonia. So a good qualitative international jury that will judge your challenges at the end of the second day. So Jan, can you tell me something or us something about how the judging goes on?
Yeah, actually no surprise, in line with what we did last year and in many other hackathons, we value innovation and we value, of course, value creation in the first place. Things can be innovative, but not so very valuable, or things can be very valuable, but actually not super innovative. These are the key dimensions. Innovation and technology and business value should be there 50-50. Obviously, we also value and rate the maturity, but we are aware of the fact that we have, and we aim for a very diverse audience of very mature and large corporate players, vendors at one end, and students at the other end, and probably startups and SMEs in the middle. Given that, we indeed both value the maturity and the feasibility of a solution, but we take into account the knowledge leap that is created to 48 hours during the 48 hours of the hackathon. So it could be that very mature companies enter the competition. Obviously, they have a huge starting point. They should prove us what they added in terms of creativity, in terms of network, of inspiration and deliverables, a prototype of a new feature, whatever. Which jump are they making? So at the end of the day, it's balanced, and we find, and we've seen that last year, a good balance between surprisingly junior participants who made a quantum leap during 48 hours, and large companies who again made a very serious step forward and together foster the industry. So innovation, business value, maturity, and the knowledge leap that is created during the hackathon is taken into the rating system. At the end of the day, obviously, it's not a computer who indicates, or a spreadsheet who indicates the winner. It's a very serious jury with deliberation who balances all the facts and figures and the arguments to come to a good judging and jury process.
Thanks, Jan. Let's have a look at the agenda. So we have 2 days of hacking. We start Monday 25th in the morning with a plenary opening sessions where we introduce some workshops and where we open the hackathon of this year. Then during the day we have some workshops. Workshops provided by Ernst & Young and also by some mentors. For example, Sander Janssen will give a workshop on digital transformation. EY will give workshops on business modeling and pitching. So then you can hack all day long. Typically, one person of each team is given to the workshop, and then at the end of the first day we will have a plenary closing session at I think 5 o'clock. But you can also hack further on that day till midnight or longer if you want. We will be available. Also, the technical channel will be available till midnight, and then we go for a quick nap. And then on Tuesday morning, we open with another plenary session where we give some feedback on the first day. We have some interviews with teams who give their idea about what they did the day before. And then at around 4 o'clock, we will close the hackathon, and every team has to submit their solutions to the jury in the EY CogniStreamer platform, with which Jan will explain later on. And this is different than last year. We will have the award ceremony on Friday afternoon between 3 and 4 o'clock. The reason is that we want to take more time to do the judging, and that we want to give a written jury report to every team. Last year we had not enough time to do that, so this is an improvement that we make this year. So on Wednesday and Thursday we will have the judging, and on Friday morning there will be a deliberation session by the jury, and then Friday afternoon between 3 and 4 the award winning ceremony. And then the 3 winners, they have the chance to promote themselves and their ID on the VIGC Congress that is held on November 9th in Belgium, in Mechelen, is between Brussels and Antwerp. And they will each get an interview of 5 minutes by our host. If you cannot travel to Belgium, we will try to get you digital in the Congress, so that's not a problem at all. So this is the agenda of, let's say, the week of the hackathon, but for you, the most important part, Monday and Tuesday, and then Friday afternoon, 1 hour. Of course, we have also a website. This is important to look at the mentors and the experts, but also to subscribe. I will go to the website and give a small demo. I had a traffic jam, so I was just in time at the office, so I have to. Okay, great. So this is the Hackathon website you all saw, I think. So the most important part is the challenges. This is what I mentioned before. For example, if you click on industrial printing, you see here the subset questions included for industrial printing. The same for publishing, other questions, but they can help you think about your challenge for your team. Same for labels. If you want to participate, of course, you need a registration. Then you click on the registration part, and then there are 3 possible options. Or you are an individual, or you are a team, or you are a member for an existing team. So if you are an individual, you fill in some personal data, first name, last name, LinkedIn profile. That's how you can connect with other participants and vice versa. And also very important is your skill set. What is your expertise and what are you looking for? For example, if you are good in business modeling and you search a team where you can take the role as a business modeler, you can write that here, and this will be shown on the profile page, which I will show you later on. So as an individual, you subscribe and you will try to find a team on the profile page, but also teams can find you on the profile page. A team also can, of course, subscribe. Then it looks like this. You need to choose a team name. You need to write down the team ID, and then you add the participants for your team. You can add up to 10 participants for one team. I think 10 is a little bit too much. As I mentioned, 4, 5, 6 is a good group of people to work 2 days on a challenge. But every team member has then needs to fill in his name, his email address, also the skill sets. And so you can add participant 2 and participant 3 and 4 and so on. So if you want to see who already subscribed to the hackathon, or if you want to look at the individuals, you see here the people and the teams who already subscribe. So we have, I think, one team already subscribed. That's the team from David from 4Ps. And we have some individuals already that subscribed. If you click on the 4Ps team, you see what their ID is and what they are looking for and what they are going to do during those 2 days. So the idea of this pre-event is that at the end of the event, you take the opportunity to subscribe as a team. Or as an individual, and that during the next few days and weeks, if you are an individual, that you try to connect with other individuals, or that you try to find a team where you can participate in. That's the idea of those pre-events. And if we can help with that, you can reach out to us by mail, sorry, not by mail, by mail. So I think that's the most important part of the website. Of course, as I mentioned before, you see all the mentor, the experts with some extra information. The jury is also mentioned. The agenda is also mentioned here, and some general questions. So I think that is quite obvious. And then we can go to the next part. I mentioned this, I think. Maybe that's also important to mention, that you not only can work together as a team, or you can form a team with individuals from one company, but also mixed teams are very inspiring. We saw that last year. So, for example, if a vendor cooperates or works together with some production companies, and they can add a student, for example, for the UX of a solution, that is very inspiring. And I think that will elaborate on the idea, and that's a really great way to look at teams within a hackathon. Mm-hmm. So the first individual organization I showed you, the teams I showed you also. We have a second team, but they need to sign in, and that will be Stora Enso. They have a recycling challenge. They will subscribe, I think, today or tomorrow. So the first team is a collaboration between University of Ljubljana, 4Ps, and the Ghent Work Group. And that's, of course, initiated by David. David, can you, we didn't spoke about this, but can you elaborate on your initiative, maybe 1 minute? Is that possible?
Sure. So, this is, to be clear, this is not an initiative at the moment. We think it could be something.
Are you there, David, or?
Yes.
David, can you elaborate on your idea a little bit?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I'm sorry for drawing you in this session.
No worries. The idea we have is something that we've had for a long time, and I think it's shared by multiple people. It is something that has come up at the Ghent Work Group. It's something that has come up at production companies. The problem is that in our industry, if we run into problems in production, that it's very hard to explain those problems to the creative side of the industry. And we can tell that something is wrong in production, but it's really difficult to explain to a graphic person who is creating the stuff in the first place what they did wrong or why it is wrong, and even harder to say how they should go about and fix the issue. And so the idea is to create something that is based on the same principles as Wikipedia, Wikitravel, those kinds of websites where there can be a community effort to supply information, correct information that has been vetted by people, where you can have not just the information to what a problem means, but maybe also how to fix it. And that ideally you would be able to use this standalone, so just a website where people can go and learn, but ideally where it would be linked to the software that is used in our industry as well, meaning that if someone gets a pre-flight report, for example, there is a link in there that brings you to the correct page on the wiki to explain what this is and how it can be fixed. Same if someone has a submission portal for a web-to-print solution, for example, and they order something, they upload a file, and they get the message that something is wrong, that again, they can get more information on what to do at that point. That's kind of the idea. We've talked to the people at Achtervelde Hogeschool. We've talked to the University of Ljubljana. We have a couple of printers in the UK that we talked to and that are enthusiastic about it. It's not clear yet who of those people will be able to join to do the actual work during the hackathon, because we have to be able to pry them loose from production work as well. But in general, the idea seems to be received enthusiastically by them.
Great. Thanks, David, for giving a little bit more background on your team and what you're going to do within those 2 days. Daniel, I think it's time to give a little bit more information about how we digitally are going to support the teams within those 2 days.
Yep, you saw already that actually prior to the hackathon, before we even entered the Microsoft Teams space of the hackathon, you saw in Jos's demo that there is already plenty of opportunity to interact due to an improved registration process and the LinkedIn connection. So we really insist that people start brainstorming and connecting, exploring prior to the hackathon. During the hackathon itself, we chose to stay pretty much in line with last year, because many of you are already familiar with the variety of Teams channels, a general channel, the announcement channel where agenda changes or things or general announcements and reminders are shared. Very important channel number 2, where any type of support you need from the organization, be it VIGC or EY or technical, whatever, just scream, yell and shout and we'll get back to you with any help. On channel 3, you find specifically the communication with the mentors, where mentors can advertise or re-advertise or reposition what they bring to the party, or the other way around, where teams can scream and search for a mentor, and probably a mentor brings in other mentors. Let's be honest, with the good hackathons, we've seen that existing mentor networks expand during the hackathon, driven by a question. Channel 4 and 5 are actually pretty relevant in the beginning of the hackathon, where individuals who have not yet found a team are looking for teams, advertising their questions or their assets or capabilities, and the other way around. Channel 5, teams looking for individuals, seeking for UX developers, seeking for this expertise, whatever. 06 is a channel where we store the information for all the planned workshops. 99 is the fun channel, so we want to see pizzas and pets and things that go embarrassingly well or wrong. We want to see there, and we will chase you and interview you and find interesting things. Then obviously some channels specifically for conversations around the challenges, but most importantly towards the end, a Teams channel for each and every team to work together. Obviously, teams are exposed to be here in those channels, but if for any reason they need additional communication means, they can do during these 48 hours, whatever it takes, smoke and mirrors, telephone, Skype, Google, whatever, Zoom, to do their thing, but this is the meeting point. So no surprises here, pretty much in line and a little bit improved to what's we used last year. A lot of interaction during the hackathon. Towards the end, we expect all the teams to add their contribution. And you see, we do that on the EY CogniStreamer platform, which again represents all the challenges as an opportunity to, you see the blue button there, add a contribution, which is pretty straightforward. You name your team, your solution, an executive summary, lots of appendices, things you want to share with us, a 3-minute video, and other underpinning evidence that you want to share with the jury. So the submission process is pretty elegant and allows us to have a very international jury who can then indeed, towards the right of this slide, you see what the jury sees. You see the top 5 questions here. I mentioned already before, how innovative is the idea? How much value is really created here? How mature and how feasible is the solution? And that is compensated by the last question. How much progress was made during the hackathon? What was the quantum leap? So also very new embryonic ideas or junior teams can rate surprisingly high on this one, and as long as they create innovation and value. So a very comfortable process. And also there, as mentioned already by Jos, we improved the jury process, take more time, and we'll get back to the participants with a more thorough jury report. No surprises here. I think since we have an international audience, the projects must be submitted in English. Obviously, communication within your team can be in the language of your choice, but all the communication in the plenary forums is obviously in English. It was already pretty international last year. You see with the co-hosts, we're expanding. Probably we are building here at the beginning of the next Eurovision Song Contest. Be prepared for tens of more co-hosts next year. That's our dream.
Okay, so these are the teams of last year, some of the teams. We had 115 subscriptions last year, 85 actual participants in 13 teams. And the 3 winners were at the first place, Lucas School of Arts, which are students of the Design Academy in Ghent in Belgium. The second place was for the vendor ESCO, you all know, with a print quality map. And the third place was a cooperation between DSN, Hybrid Software, and Connix. And today we have also Dries Maarten from Connix with us. So Dries, can you please in a few minutes elaborate on your participation last year? What was your feeling? How did it went? Please give us an update on your ideas on that.
Hi, Just. Thanks for asking us. First of all, great picture of Dries van den Bussen on the number 3 of their slide. It was really a pleasure. No problem. 3 main things I remembered from last year. First of all, I thought it was fantastic for students to win. It really showed that the hackathon is a level playing field, and it's not about being big. It's not about being huge. It's just about having a good idea and being able to win something like that. So I think that was fantastic to see these girls, these young women win the hackathon. Secondly, and it has been mentioned already a few times before, the collaboration is a fantastic part of this of the hackathon. We were able to collaborate with DSN and Hybrid, and I saw other teams collaborating with multiple organizations. And it's really refreshing to see people with another skill set, with another background, with another point of view, and just working together on a solution or on a challenge. I think that's the second part. It has been mentioned already a few times before that it's a great part of the hackathon. And thirdly, internally for us, it was the development team that joined the hackathon. And it's a group of young guys working with us. And during the year, we are always chasing them with release plans, structure, organization, project management, etc. But during the hackathon, they just could 2 days, they could go crazy, just focus on the solution, be creative, do what you like to do, and create something new. And actually, the only thing we had to give them, and that was already mentioned before, was pizza and caffeine to work together on that thing. So I think these were the 3 things I took along from last year, that anybody can win. It's great to collaborate, and it's actually a great team building for some people's internally.
Thanks, Maarten, for your thoughts about last year. So I think, Jan, and everybody else, it's time for the Q&A part. So I'm going to switch to this. So I think we tackled more or less the structure of the hackathon, what you can expect, how we are going to organize it. But maybe there are some questions from the audience, from you, from the potential participants, or hopefully the participants. So I would say give us a hand, or I don't know if there are questions in the chat. I don't see them. No questions. So Jan, we did a good job, if there are no questions.
Probably, not sure. The key question we typically get is, and that's good in a way, and is quote unquote, could this work? Is this possible on a hackathon? And we get that from, as I indicated already before, and let me repeat myself, is this venture possible? And we hear anything from materials to science, to software, to hardware, to business models, to market research. And honestly, we stimulate everybody to do the reflection for yourself. As long as you know for yourself in your industry, you do something that is innovative for you, which you haven't explored yet, but you add a feature, you add a connection, you try out a new application, and that you think indeed this is innovative, this is valuable, and you find a team to co-create. Well, do it on stage. During the hackathon, the reward will be great, and you will get a stage for your, to do it for your branding, personal branding, company branding, organization branding, industry branding.
Okay, so let me end to thank Intergraph and also Ernst & Young for participating. Also the Danish, the Estonian, and the Dutch Federation, of course. And last evening, I also got a nice mail from Portugal, who will not be co-host, but who will promote the hackathon also on Portugal. So thank you, Teresa, for doing that. Much appreciated. So if there are no questions, I want to thank you for your time. We will
maybe someone wants to promote themselves to team up. Is there anyone who wants to promote themselves to team up? It's a great time and place to do that.
Good, Lisbeth. Yeah. Okay,
because I've got an email from Jos Klaas. He's on a sailboat and he couldn't connect to the internet. So he sent me an email and he asked me to promote him to team up for moderating brainstorm sessions, making prototypes. So if anyone wants to team up with Jos Klaas, you can connect on the participants profile page. You can find them there. So if anyone else wants to promote himself, take the stage. We still got 15 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Or test an ID. Everything is possible. Please share what you're thinking about and how you could contribute to the hackathon. There's limited rules. We have even last year seen teams merging. We have seen mentors joining teams. Mentors are not abstract profiles. Obviously, they are there to be the flying doctors across teams, but sometimes in some hackathons we see mentors or any other individual participants just jump and swim and say, I can really do my thing here with this team. There's hardly any rules. We keep the jury apart. They should not mingle and they should be neutral, but all the other participants, I would say, jump and swim and mingle and contribute. Any ideas, people that want to test the concept or a participation or that hesitate about a certain field of play or application or technology, feel free to share it openly, and that might trigger or sparkle a discussion.
Everybody is shy. It's not. Okay.
No problem.
No problem. No problem. We'll wrap. Yeah, it was a good idea, Lisbeth, but I think they have
No,
to.
they're all shy. They're all shy.
Yeah, no problem. We have a second pre-event on the 6th of October in the afternoon, so that will be better for Portugal. It's not that early for them because they are 1 hour behind. So if you want to redirect people to that pre-event, reach out to us. Lisbeth will share the Teams link.
The link is also published on the website, so it can be shared by that way.
Okay. So once again, thanks for your time. Please register after this meeting. We need you. The industry needs you. So it will be a great European Graphic Arts Hackathon. See you soon.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.